Good morning. My name is Adrian Garcia. I'm the Technical Services Manager for ACTI Corporation, and I'm based in Irvine, California. Thanks for attending our webinar today for VMS Overview. Today with me, I have my co-panelists, Joe Hudak, Joe McCarthy, and Gary Clark. They'll be introducing themselves in just under a minute. So I'll go ahead and take a quick look at our agenda for today. And once again, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We'll start by giving you a brief introduction of who ACTI is in case you're not familiar with our brand. We'll talk a little bit about licensing as well, and then we'll jump directly into having an understanding of what our VMS overview capabilities are. We'll talk about our key products, NVR3, the mobile client app. It comes with the client for all of our products, CMS2 and TV Wall. And then we'll have a live demo to cover a little bit of the functionalities for the NVR3. Then we'll go ahead and take a quick look at some of the tools on our website to work with ACTI, and then we'll have a quick Q&A session where we'll be happy to address any questions you might have during this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and let my colleagues introduce themselves and give you a little bit of background on our company.
Great, thanks, Adrian. Good morning, everyone. This is Joe Hudak, Director of Sales with ACTI. Happy to see everybody here this morning. Hopefully we won't be on webinars that much longer. Everybody's starting to open up their states, so good news there. Just a little bit of background information on ACTI, and then I'll let Joe and Gary introduce themselves. For those of you that aren't familiar with ACTI, we've been around since 2003, about 17 years in the IP marketplace. Started out with our IP cameras and our VMS. A lot of people know us for our current models where we have, I think, close to 200 now or over, and multiple VMS platforms that we'll talk about today. The great thing about ACTI is we can start with as small as one camera and go up to thousands of cameras. The other thing that a lot of people don't know about ACTI is we bring other solutions to the tables. Adrian's done a couple webinars for us on our analytics and our solutions in that respect. So if you'd like more information on that, it's available online. The headquarters worldwide is in Taiwan, which is great news in the state that the world's at today. We don't have to worry about any of our products in regards to the Chinese ban from the federal government or the sanctions for product coming out of China. So you'll get best pricing and be able to work, excuse me, on those government projects. US-wise, our headquarters is in Irvine, California. As Adrian said, that's where he's based out of. And then just the key thing to keep in mind with ACTI is one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being available to help our customers with the product and the solutions and actually providing solutions for your customers. So if you need a demo, you need help with actually selecting a product, Gary, Joe, myself, Adrian are all available for you. So with that said, Gary, I'll turn it over to you and then Joe.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank everyone for joining us because it is time to take it out of your schedule, and we think it's important to give a little bit of information on our VMS and our capabilities and the reasons why we're able to sell the product and why it's had success in multiple different venues, such as everything from schools to prisons to standard manufacturing facilities, some of the largest names in the U.S., petrochemical companies, etc. So we're very proud of our system. We're very proud of our engineering, and it shows in our product. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. I just want to add that I look forward to our NVR and PMS sessions because while I think most people know us for our camera line, they may not be familiar with what we can offer on the head-end side. And what you're going to learn, the more you get to know this and the more you use it, is that it is an enterprise-level VMS on par with your Milestone, your Genetec, your Vigilon. But you're going to see that a fraction of the cost, and there's a few reasons for that. You know, companies like Milestone or Genetec or Salient, they offer a nice, robust VMS, but can't offer you the cameras. And there are some camera companies, vice versa, that can offer you the cameras, but not the VMS. Because we're able to offer you a total solution, it helps us with controlling costs, keeping costs down, and getting our products out there for as low cost as possible. So I think that as you go through this, you'll see that it has all the bells and all the whistles as just about any other VMS out there, and I think you'll enjoy what you see. Adrian, want to take it over?
Thank you, guys. All right, so moving forward, I want to highlight really quick that our products are compliant with NDAA. If you're not familiar with that, we've talked a little bit more about that in previous webinar sessions, but it's a big benefit of working with us. And then let's move into understanding a little bit of what our ecosystem looks like. We call our ecosystem Unified Solution, and that's a combination of all of our products working on a single umbrella. So our cameras, NVRs, CMS, TV wall, and all the type of clients, workstations, display stations, everything has been thoroughly integrated and works very well together. So because of this advantage of having a unified solution and being able to have a single contact window, our VMS proposal actually makes a lot of sense to many end users, system integrators, because now it means you have to deal with less people in case you do run into issues. You have to less licensing. So it really makes sense for you to be able to work with us. And speaking about licensing, I'll let my colleague Joe Hudak talk a little bit about how licensing works for our NVR3, CMS, and other products.
Great, thanks, Adrian. So as I've been with ACTI going on 10 years now, and in the industry about 20, one of the things that we've often run into with the system integrators and the end users with licenses are two things. We run into, with a lot of the VMS companies, they charge an ongoing fee on a yearly basis for their product, which creates constraints in regards to budget for a lot of customers. The second thing is the ease of use with licenses, and I know that sounds kind of silly, but in respects to working with the technicians, with a lot of the VMS products, it's not as simple as just adding a camera or taking a camera out. There's some time involved with it. So with ACTI, one of the great things that we have going for us is when you buy a product from us and you buy the software, we license it and charge you for it once and once only. So as you sell it to your end users and we talk about the complete cost of a system, we have to talk about, hey, next year, as opposed to hitting your budget up for 10 to 15% of the initial cost to pay for reoccurring fees just to keep your software current. That's something that comes with our system when you buy it. So there are no reoccurring fees with our software, which just makes it easier for the end user to adjust their capital and their budget for ongoing projects. The second thing is for the technicians. A lot of times when a technician goes to upgrade a camera or replace a camera in a system, they actually, most manufacturers tie a MAC address to a license. ACT does not. So what that does for you is when the technician goes out, instead of spending 45 minutes with tech support, emailing back and forth, and doing those types of things to adjust the camera, what Adrian will probably show today, I hope he does at least, is that to add or replace a camera, it's as simple as going into our VMS, going ahead and deleting the camera, bringing the new camera into the system, and the system automatically assigns that license to the new camera. It can be done within a matter of minutes. You don't need to call tech support. So a huge time saver and a money saver for the system integrator and the end users. So that gives you a little bit of background on our licensing. Of course, if you have any additional questions, feel free to ask them. We'll hit those in the Q&A session. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit more into the NVR3 and some of the features. Our NVR3, like Joe McCarthy mentioned, compares very well to some of the most advanced VMS. Excuse me. To some of the most advanced VMS that are out there, including Genetec and Vigilon. So we have many of the same features, again, as a fraction of the cost of our licensing. Just like Joe Hudak mentioned, our licensing model, it's very competitive. So we have features such as visual tracking, eMaps, Google Maps, thumbnail search, smart search, push video, notifications on your mobile client app, which, by the way, doesn't require additional licenses for you to use our mobile client app. It has the capability of embedding websites, So a lot of the advanced features that you will normally see on a very powerful VMS, you will see them on our NVR3. So I'll show you in a little bit how that works. Before we jump into that, I just want to highlight that we do offer two different options. You can go with software only. So that means you can build your own server. You can scale it up to 200 channels per server, and every channel equivalent typically to a camera. You can buy licenses as you need. We do bundle a few licenses with each edition of our NVR3. We do have 2 editions, so I'll walk you through on what those differences are. And the other thing with the software is that you will be responsible of making sure your hardware has been tested, that you've licensed your operating system, and then you're getting the correct support from your hardware vendor as well. Now, if you decide to take a different path and go with our standalone servers, that's a turnkey solution. We've bundled a different number of channels on each server, and you can support up to 256 channels with the newest NVRs we've introduced in the last few weeks. And you will be able to have also everything pre-tested, both on the hardware, on the software operating system by ACTI. So that gives you peace of mind when it comes to installing and deploying a server. And also when it comes to having to require support, you'll be able to contact directly to ACTI to be able to work on both your software and your hardware issues. So the standalone server, it's one of the most preferred methods to deploy a system with our solutions, just because it's everything's in-house. It makes everything simpler, especially if you're deploying a large project where you want to be able to have a very consistent support team that's going to stand behind you while you're installing your new products. Now, when it comes to the servers, we do have a very wide variety in our portfolio. Today, we'll be focusing only on the GNRs and the INRs, the ones that are highlighted here, and those are the ones that are running our NVR3 product. We do have other series. There are ENRs, small transportation devices. We've had other webinars in the past weeks, and I'll walk you through on how to find those webinars in our Learning Center. So again, today I'll be focusing only on our GNRs and INRs, which are the ones that have our NVR3, the corporate edition. So when it comes to the software, as I mentioned, we do have 2 different editions. We have the enterprise and the corporate. They have a lot of similarities, but the main difference between 2 of them is the advanced features that come with the corporate edition. The corporate edition, again, is the one that comes built in with our standalone servers. So if you had purchased a GNR or an INR, or you're planning on purchasing one, you'll have the NVR3 corporate, which includes all of the advanced features I mentioned before as well, such as visual tracking, web controller, analytics integrations, integrations with other servers such as POS, access control, capabilities of pushing video from your smartphone, receiving notifications into your smartphone as well. So all of those advanced features are part of the corporate NVR3 edition. And the other big difference is the amount of bundle licenses that come with the software. So if you download the enterprise NVR3 from our website, you'll have automatically 16 licenses for ACTI cameras and 1 for third-party cameras. And if you decide to download instead the corporate edition, you would have 1 ACTI license and 1 third-party license for your cameras. So that's one of the major differences. One comes with 16 and the other one only with 1 license for ACTI. And so enterprise might make a lot of sense for you if you're trying to deploy something under 16 licenses, and then it's going to be something that you can build your own PC or your own server. So it could make perfect sense for you to use the enterprise. If you're going beyond 16 licenses, you might directly go with the corporate if you're looking for more advanced features. We do have more information on our website. Our website is one of the most advanced tools that we have, and it competes very well as well with by providing additional tools that I'll walk you through and where to find those later on. Now, the NVR3 gets complemented with our mobile client app. This app provides you a lot of advanced features, including live view, playback, search capabilities, maps, which includes both eMaps and Google Maps. It also supports notifications. So if something happens, there's an event, you will receive an instant notification on your smartphone. You can work with digital input and output. So you will be able to control things directly from your mobile client app if you're trying to turn on lights, open up a gate, making sure that the status of your fire alarms is good. And then everything else, you will be able to control it with your DIO. You'll also be able to add bookmarks and make sure that you can control your TV wall. So if you're using bookmarks, that's a great capability for you to be able to add notes and something that you've seen. For example, if you receive a notification of motion alert and you found that that's actually suspicious and you want to take a further look later today, and once you're in front of your computer and you want to save it as a bookmark, you'll be able to do that. So later on, when you go back to your NVR3, you will be able to review that footage and you won't have to look for it again because you've already saved some notes for it. Now, if you're trying to use some of the more advanced features, you also have the capability of pushing video from your smartphone into the NVR3. So what that makes is it creates all the areas where you might have no coverage. You will be able to use your smartphone as a camera, so you can actually start recording directly on your NVR3. So that effectively makes all of your security staff, all your administrative personnel, given the capabilities of being part of the system by recording and make sure that everything is saved on your NVR3. You also have the capability of using your smartphone for two-way audio to communicate with cameras. So if you have cameras that already have a microphone and a speaker connected to it, you'll be able to interact and use the two-way audio functionality with your smartphone. You'll also have the capability of looking at events. So any type of event, no matter if it's a simple event such as motion detection or if it's part of our advanced analytics, you'll be able to see those as well. And whenever you're doing anything, you'll be able to take snapshots and on future versions even record short video clips as well. So our mobile client app is really powerful, so much that we've actually had a dedicated webinar session for it. So again, I'll walk you through how to find those, but it's a really interesting, and the mobile client app, it's one of the best apps that is out there in the market. So I will highly recommend you spending a couple minutes reviewing this. And again, it's free. It's included for all of our products. So that means it's a single app for our NVR3, our CMS, our ENRs, but basically every product that we made when it comes to being able to connect to video, it connects to our mobile client app. Now, with NVR3, we also offer some additional options for backup. We do have a server that is for failover. So that means if you're deploying multiple servers, we do have an N+1 solution, which means that if you're deploying 5 NVR3 servers and you want to have an extra server that is going to be used for failover in case one of them goes down, then we do have a solution for that. Actually, the same NVR3 product, there's a tool that converts it in a failover server. It does require a license, a separate license for you to use that. And if you do want more information about that, we will be happy to provide you. We also have an option for backup that you can actually transfer your recordings automatically on a daily basis to a different system. So those two options are available for you, so you can plan your system for disaster recovery or just for compliance regulations, depending if you're using, for example, PCI compliance, or if you're just trying to follow regulations for the banking industry, for the cannabis industry, whatever industry you're working on that requires some type of backup or failover, you will be able to fulfill those compliance with our products. We do also offer cloud as a backup. We've had another webinar session as well, talking a little bit more about cloud recording. So you will be able to find more information about that in our previous recordings as well. So moving forward, whenever you're trying to scale up the NVR3 into a larger project, let's say that you want to go beyond the 200 channels that we've offered with our NVR3 corporate, and you're trying to scale it up because you have multiple buildings, that's where our CMS2 comes in. That stands for Central Management System. Just like with our NVR3, we do offer two different options. You can go with our software, or you can go with our standalone solutions. Same benefits and disadvantages come, so pros and cons on both sides. The only difference is that with the software and standalone servers for CMS2, we can scale up this up to 6,400 channels. So that means you can have a limited number of servers. You can have hundreds of NVRs, and NVRs can be anything from our series, so it can be ENRs, generation 2, generation 3. It could be a GNR or an INR or software only. It doesn't really matter. Everything will be supported by the Central Management System, and I'll show you some of the benefits of using this tool. When it comes to standalone servers, we do have 3 different options depending on the size of your project and some of the requirements when it comes to additional redundancy of power, for example, or network capabilities. So we do have the CMS 100, CMS 200, and recently introduced the CMS 401. Now, when it comes to the software, we only have one edition. That's going to be the CMS2 Enterprise. So it's the same edition. It comes with all of the servers. And with the CMS2 Enterprise, like I said, you will be able to add all type of servers, and you will be able to add, no matter if it's an ACTI camera or a third-party camera, you will be able to scale it up, and it uses the same license. There's no maximum number of users, just like with our NVR3. We don't limit by how many users can connect based on your licensing. Basically, as long as your hardware can take it, you will be able to scale up the amount of users you need. And you'll see that you have all the same features as the NVR3 corporate. So the other big benefit is that the interface is exactly the same. It's identical to the NVR3 corporate. So that means there's no additional learning curve if you're starting with the NVR3 corporate with 16 channels, and then you scale up to 64 and then hundreds of cameras. So it doesn't really matter how fast you grow with your system. It's going to be the same interface. And as you learn in 6 minutes when we do our demo, it's really intuitive and easy to use. There's almost no learning curve for you to start operating your system within minutes. And security staff can also learn it very fast. So it's a really great way for you to start working and scaling up your system. Now, there's one more product I want to introduce, and that's going to be our TV wall. The TV wall is something that normally is used for control centers or command centers. And the idea is that as you have your cameras, your NVRs, you might have your central management system in a different geographic location. It could be in the same city, but different buildings, or maybe it's a school campus and you just have multiple buildings and each building has its own NVR. It could be a factory with dozens of NVRs just because of the scale and the amount of cameras it supports. It doesn't matter. No matter what, if you do have an event and you want to display it in a control center and you want to automate the way you're operating, and you have your dispatch staff on constantly monitoring the system, that's where the TV wall could be a benefit for you. You can connect multiple monitors to a single PC and then control everything from your CMS client. In previous webinars, we've also addressed a little bit more about this product, but I just want to highlight this product today just so you know that it's an option for you to use, and the TV wall is something that works with CMS. This is a simple architecture how everything works. The idea is that your cameras are connected to the NVRs. The NVRs are linked all to each other through the CMS, and then the CMS can manage all of the TV wall servers. You can have a limited number of TV wall servers, so that means you can have a limited number of monitors or screens connected to them. Each TV wall is licensed per server, so that's a little bit different from the camera, from the NVR, where it's per camera, per channel. And we do also have 2 different options. You can do software only, so you can buy your own server. making sure that you get your graphic cards to support multiple monitors, or you can go with our TV wall option, the TVW100, and licenses included. You get everything built in, so it's a simple way for you to deploy it if you go with our hardware, but you do have both options, just like with our NVR and CMS. So just to show you a couple of examples of deployments from our customers from the TV walls. So this is a good way for you to visualize what I'm talking about when it comes to deploying a control center or dispatch center. So you can have multiple monitors, you have your CMS workstation, and you can push video directly to those TVs by operating everything from your workstation client. So just to summarize an overview of the different solutions we've addressed today. So we do have in an example, for example, of a logistics center or a warehouse or a factory where you will have on each building multiple cameras. Those cameras might or might not have built-in analytics. You have your NVRs as well. You could have additional security peripherals such as alarm systems, access control, fire protection. Doesn't matter. You can have everything also connected through network digital input and outputs, and then everything goes and gets tied into a control center where you have your CMS, your TV wall, and then you can have additional backup and redundancy servers. And then you have your clients, which could be a workstation for Windows or your mobile client apps for Android and iOS. So all of those products complement themselves very well. And now that we've talked a little bit about the solution in slides, let's actually dig in a little bit more and have a better understanding using our live demo. So just to let you know, the live demo I'm going to be using today is going to be both the NVR3 and the CMS2 server. So I'll walk you through a little bit more on the NVR3 and then just briefly show you what the CMS2 looks like, just so you can understand the differences between the two of them. And then we'll have the opportunity to connect with both the mobile client and the web client. So during the presentation as well, you can learn as well more about these two offerings by going through our previous webinars. And just to let you know as well, our web browser client has the capabilities of connecting also in the future with other browsers through a feature firmware upgrade, and that's going to be supporting Chrome, Safari, and Firefox. So we will be supporting other browsers in the coming months. And this demo is publicly available, so you will be able to connect as well later on. So without further introductions to our demo site, this is the NVR3. The NVR3, like I said, I'm connected to the web browser, by the way. We do have three main menus. On the right side, we have Live View, Playback, and Setup. So I'll be walking you mainly through the functionalities that we have on Live View and Playback. And then we'll take a quick look on setup on how to add cameras and just the different options that you have when it comes to managing users, just to give you a good idea of how everything works in the back end. So let's begin by having an understanding of all the different panels on the NVR3. We have on our left side, we have our view panels, camera panels, and some additional panels that are for more advanced functionalities, such as our extended devices, point of sales, events, and PTT capabilities. I'll be focusing only on the views and cameras. We also have here the different layouts and the layouts and views controls. So you will be able to create new views and modify them from here. And in the middle, that's where all the action happens. This is where you can actually go ahead and take a look at and construct your views. So let's begin by creating a new view so we can have a good understanding of how we interact with the system. So I'll go ahead and create a view for a 64, which is an 8x8 layout grid. So we can go ahead and create something like this. Now I'll go ahead and add a new view. So I'll go ahead and rename this as an example. And all of our views can be grouped into different folders. So these folders are something that you can customize, so you can create your own group, and this group can be publicly available or it could be private, and if it's public, you can decide who gets access to see it. So you can select different user groups that can have access to it. You can also set this with GPS coordinates, so if you have different views for different geographic locations, you can actually set this as well as part of the system. In this case, I'm going to keep it simple and just create a new view, call it sample on my examples views group. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding cameras to it. So I'll go ahead and click edit. And now I can simply drag and drop cameras to it, or I can just double click on one of the cameras and it's automatically going to populate it. So I could continue adding cameras this way just by double clicking on dragging and dropping, or I also have the option of adding through this menu here. So one of the benefits of using one of these larger grids is that I can customize my view layout by dragging and dropping here on the corners. I can transform my view into anything that I need. So I can modify it this way, and this way I can have very flexible views or grids. I can just drag and drop my cameras. From here, I'll be able to add all sorts of contents, including cameras, adding e-maps, Google Maps, and web controllers, and our digital inputs and outputs, and point of sales. So again, there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to constructing views. I'll go ahead and add a map really quick just to show you how easy it is. You can import any JPEG file and drag and drop your cameras. Just like this, we have our views connected, and I can go ahead and link this to another view that I pre-created, so that way you can make navigation a lot easier. So by using e-maps, you reduce the amount of learning your operators have to use or have to go through in order to learn where cameras are located or how they're named, because now you can make it intuitive just by navigating through the layouts or through maps or through any kind of picture that you've decided that you want to import. You will be also able to connect to any website. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and link to our company website just to show you how it looks. And then you will be also able to add Google Maps and add any other type of extended device. For example, in here we have access control devices and also our network digital input and outputs. And again, you can continue to add more cameras, so you can go ahead and add more here. I can add something like our fisheye here as well. And in this case, I will go ahead and just make this larger. Once you're ready, you can go ahead and save it. And now you got your new view created. So simple as that. You can customize as many views as you need in here. So you can have different views for your parking lot, for your campus buildings, for your factory area or production facilities. Anything really you need, you will be able to do it from there. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other functionalities. So once I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficulties with my demo site, so let me go ahead and reopen it just for a second. In the meantime, Joe, do you want to talk about some of the additional benefits of NVR3?
Sure, absolutely, Adrian. So I think one of the biggest selling points that we all have with the NVRs and the NVR softwares is simply this. As we put a tool in front of our customers, one of the key things that we all go out and sell are all the features. We talk about the mobile phone, we talk about the mobile push app, we talk about maps, we talk about alerts, we talk about all these full functionalities, which are great and very powerful for the end user to use. But one of the things that often gets overlooked at this is actually who's sitting in front of the computer and in the controls. And that's the other second key component when we sell the NVR, is that as Adrian's gone through it today, he makes it look really easy and he's really good at what he does. But the key thing is actually you can learn 80% of the NVR software from a technical side in less than an hour. And from an end user standpoint, you can actually learn to navigate the software in less than 15 minutes to know just about all the full features. And if I put somebody in front of the software in less than 5 minutes of them sitting in front of it, if they've never seen it before, most people are able to navigate and do exactly what they need to do, which means they can open the software, they can pull live video up, they can review video, and they can quickly export video from the system. So one of the key things to keep in mind is a lot of your VMS platforms is a software designed by an engineer that really should be used by an engineer because it can be just that challenging. The nice thing about the VMS platform from ACTI is that they were designed by engineers. The input and the feature sets that you see here are features that were designed by input from the field because this software is a little bit over 7 years old. So as a mature product, the new features that you see in it are direct upgrades based on what our customers wanted. But most importantly, that when we set somebody in front of that software, regardless if they're a 20-year CCTV vet or they're brand new to the industry, they can be in front of it and they can operate the software as they need to. And for the system integrators that are on the phone today, this is key because the biggest call that we see in the industry that you get are two things. A, what's my password? And Adrian will talk about how we address that in just a little bit. The second call we get is, how do I get video off the system? And we find that a lot of our system integrators have to actually send somebody out to show an end user how to do that, which is time-consuming and expensive, and it happens multiple times. The reality is that you can actually, like I said earlier, we can actually teach somebody how to do live view, playback, and export. I've done it in less than 5 minutes. So very powerful tool, but also a very usable tool in that respect. So it looks like Adrian's got everything back up and running, so I'll get off my soapbox and I'll turn it back to you, Adrian.
All right, thank you, Joe. All
Sure.
right, so going back to this demo presentation, we're working on just showing you some of the features. I just created a view, and then let's go ahead and navigate through some of the other functionalities. So let's go ahead and select any of the cameras we have here so we can double click on one of the cameras to show you more information about a specific camera. And now we can go ahead and enlarge it. So by just double clicking on any camera at any point, you will be able to expand it. And now you have the capability of using the digital zoom feature. So by doing this, you will be able to access the picture-in-picture feature, which is something that you can actually use to navigate so you can move around the parking lot. And everything you're doing is only digital, so you're not affecting the recording at all. It's just like when you take a picture with your smartphone and enlarge it. So the same thing we're doing here. You will be able, if you right-click to take a screenshot, so you'll be able to save this directly on your desktop or your pictures folder. You will be able to also double click on it to have an instant playback capability, so you will be able to review footage immediately from 5 minutes ago. And take it even one step further, because now I can go ahead and change my view here and drag the same camera multiple times, and now I can actually take a look at this timeline both real time and on playback 5 minutes ago. And I can even take it one step further and maybe take a look at playback maybe from a day ago. So it doesn't really matter what I'm looking at from this live view. In terms of the cameras, you can have the same camera many times added, and you can have them all in different timelines, and you will be able to play smoothly while you still have all the cameras in real time. So that's a really cool feature, very popular among end users as well. From here, if you right-click, you'll see you have a lot of different options as well. You have the capability of creating bookmarks, so that gives you the advantage of being able to tag metadata, just text data. It doesn't matter if it's a license plate information or a driver's license ID number. It doesn't really matter. Again, you can go ahead and add details, which later you will be able to review. So if you have a security officer finding that maybe there was a break-in into one of these cars and they want to make sure that they get permissions from their manager to export this footage later once they're available, then you can go ahead and create notes, and then you can review together with your manager the footage to be able to export it. And that way you won't have to refine that evidence. So now that's when it comes to live view. You will be able to have all of these features. Many of them actually are shared with playback. So if you go to the playback window, I'll navigate that through this option that says thumbnail search. Thumbnail search is a great way for you to start navigating through a timeline by selecting where different thumbnails are in a different timeline here. So let's say, for example, let me actually do it with a different camera just to show you how it works. I'll go ahead and select this camera here. So let's go ahead and take the A44. And now let me go ahead and click on thumbnail. So I already jumped into the playback window. Maybe you didn't notice, but just by selecting the thumbnail search view, you actually automatically jump into that view. I could have easily done it as well by just clicking on live view and then clicking on playback. But from here, you'll be able to go ahead and use that. Again, thumbnail search is one of the most popular features, and all you got to do is right-click on it and select thumbnail. Then you can select your resolution or interval time, and then from here, you'll be able to start finding any type of differences between the two different thumbnails. So in this case, if I'm trying to find out at what time this vehicle came into the office, I can go ahead and click on it. Actually, go ahead and select this one. We'll try to find when this vehicle came in. I can start drilling in by using my mouse wheel and find the first snapshot where I see this vehicle parking in. So I'll continue to do so until I find the specific time where it actually drove into the parking spot. So we already narrowed it down from a day to 30 minutes, and that was under 10 seconds, I think. And within a minute, we should be able to find the specific time where where he actually parked in. So we're narrowing it down all the way to 10 seconds. So bear with me as we're going to find that car parking into the spot. So we're almost there. 30 seconds already in. As if you didn't notice, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying we're narrowing down the time. We're already at 10 seconds. So now we can go ahead and play through. We'll go ahead and select the first screenshot where we don't see the vehicle, and now we'll just play through and we should see them parking. So like I said, it's really easy for you to navigate using the thumbnail search. We do offer many search mechanisms within the NVR3, so you can use thumbnail search. You have your typical time bar navigation where you can just drag and drop. You have your calendar search, and you do have other advanced search methods such as smart search, bookmarks, notifications, even analytics search included with this. So there's a lot of mechanisms. We've reviewed many more of these ones on other webinar sessions. So I'll try to keep it light for today. But if you do want to learn more about that, feel free to take a look at our previous recordings where we've navigated a little bit or navigate deeper into the functionalities that the NVR3 has. So let me finish this demo of the NVR3 by just showing you really quick how you will be adding cameras and how you will be managing your users. First thing you want to do is navigating into the setup page, then clicking on the device tab, and now all you got to do is click on add devices. You'll hit search. This is where you'll go ahead and enter your credentials. And now it's going to start automatically discovering all of the devices you have on your network. So simply as this, you can just find all of your cameras. Once you're ready, you can click on select them and adding them. You'll see all of the different licenses that you have bundled. And if you want to remove a device, you can just click on it, delete it, and the license automatically goes back to your pool. So again, it's real simple. You can do all of your modifications of camera settings, no matter if it's basic information or video or audio or PTC controls, analytics, motion detection, everything you will be able to control it from here. And when it comes to users management, you'll be able to also control everything from here as well. Permissions are very granular, so that means you can go ahead and give individual permissions on a camera basis and per function. So you can have different permissions for live view and playback and exporting on different cameras. And you will be able to also assign them per groups so that you can create different profiles and then just assign those users to those profiles. The NVR3 is also compatible with Active Directory. So if you already have deployed on your organization, that makes it easier for you to manage your users. So it's a really great a great way for you to start creating users without having to worry about administrating your passwords or credentials. So that's it when it comes to the NVR3. Now let me bring up the CMS tool into my screen just to show you what the difference is. You'll see it's actually very simple because it's almost identical. So let's go ahead and show you in under 2 minutes what the CMS tool looks like. I know we're running out of time, but we should be able to show you that in just a second. So in the meantime, if you do have any questions for us, feel free to include those on the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to address them. And unfortunately, I'm not sure why I lost connection to our CMS too. So because of that, I think we will probably leave this for a different session, the CMS2 section. But like I said, it's almost identical. The main difference is the capability of you to be able to see multiple NVRs, not just a single NVR in your camera panel, but you will be able to see more of those. So again, I apologize because yeah, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with CMS at the moment, demo side, but we'll be happy to show you some of the tools that we have on our website. So working with ACTI is really simple, especially because of the project planner capabilities that we have included. We also had another webinar session where we talked a little bit more about that, capabilities of our different tools and how to plan for a project from scratch using this tool. So a project planner includes tools for camera selection, calculating what kind of lens you should be using, or if a camera will be giving you the capabilities of seeing far enough. You'll have a tool as well to find out what mounting accessories you want to be using, and also the bandwidth and storage calculations you'll need to do in order to determine how much hard drive storage you'll need. You'll have another tool to select which hard drives are have been approved and select to use with our NVRs, and you'll have other tools as well to determine if your third-party cameras are compatible with our system. So all of those tools are available in our website. In case you need support from us, we are open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the number you can reach to us. You can also open up a ticket on our customer help desk platform, and we'll be happy to assist you with any type of problems you have or questions about planning or just about specific issues of our product. So you can contact us. You can also register in our website, and you'll get more information about previous webinars and also upcoming webinars and other relevant content. If you do want to access our previous webinars or even this recording, you will be able to do so from our Learning Center. This is where you'll see the information about upcoming webinars and also the previous recordings. So if you click on the past webinar section, you will be able to see all of the recordings we've done through the past few weeks, and you will be able to just enjoy them on your own time. And that's the end of our presentation. I want to thank you for your time today, and I'll go ahead and let my colleagues just give you some final notes before we wrap up the session. I'll take a look to see if we do have any questions on our Q&A.
Great, thanks, Adrian. Just a reminder to everyone that's on the call, if you do need assistance, again, with putting a project together, we're all available to assist you. And then also don't forget to register your projects with your salesperson for best pricing. Gary? Joe?
Really appreciate
Gary
you doing this for us. So
oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think I was on mute. I apologize for that. And I think Gary accidentally dropped off. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is just a brief look into the VMS and really its basic functions and features. And there are other sessions that you can either find on our website, or I'm sure we'll be hosting again in the near future, that go into some of the most advanced features and settings. But this gives you a nice idea of what the system can do and what it can offer. And I think that, I think that it's clear that this can run any enterprise level project just as good as most of our competitors out there. So with that, I'll let Adrian take the questions.
All right, thank you guys. So some of the most frequent questions that we do get is regarding the CMS capability of adding the NVRs. Do I need a separate license for that, or do I need to license only the NVR? The answer to that is yes, you do require a license. You need a license for your CMS. Another question that we got is if the CMS can support third-party NVRs. The answer to that is not yet, but actually we will be supporting in the upcoming release. So the next version will support third-party VMSs as well. So you will be able to add your existing NVRs and managing them directly from our CMS. For the NVRs that will be supported, please contact us if you do want more information about that. But we will be supporting other NVRs in the upcoming feature, on the upcoming version of the CMS. I do see another question about installing the CMS workstation and getting a mismatch when trying to connect to another NVR. So yes, the CMS workstation only connects directly to the CMS server. So in order for you to add your ENR 421, you first will need to install your CMS2 server. So the CMS2 server is the one that actually will be talking directly to your ENR, and then your CMS workstation connects to the CMS server. So you do require a server first in order for you to be able to connect to the ENR. The ENR, it doesn't have a workstation by itself. So if you do want to have a workstation product and not connecting through the web client, you would need to have the CMS2 server installed. Another question we got is regarding the exporting capabilities. I did forget to do that on the demo. So just to show you really quick, the idea is that once you've exported a file, you can export it in multiple file formats. One of the most popular ways of exporting is through the player. And the player format is actually something that is very useful because you can go ahead and have everything into a single file. And that single file can be played on pretty much any Windows computer, and it can include multiple cameras all exported into the same device. So let me go ahead and find an example of an executable file, which is the player, and I can show you how that looks like. In the meantime, we have another question, which is regarding the licensing for third-party cameras and active cameras. So there are different licenses depending on the which product you are on. If you're on the NVR3, you will require a different part number for active cameras and a different one for third-party cameras. If you're on the CMS, which is the next layer, you'll just require a general license. There's no differences between active cameras or third-party cameras. So there's those two differences between the licensing on the CMS and the NVR3. So let me go ahead, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time trying to find an example of our recording. So let me see if I can find, okay, I got one. All right, so let me go ahead and share this on my screen here. So this is an example of what the exporting looks like on our media tool or our media player tool. So the idea is that from here you have all the different playback controls. You can export up to 4 different channels, and you'll have also the capabilities of doing taking snapshots and even taking also digital zoom capabilities. So everything that you normally see on your NVR3, you will be able to do it from your exported footage as well. So that's all of the questions that we have for today. We do have another session later today to talk about the new products that ACTI has released, and we have also the same sessions on this coming Thursday. So feel free to join us, and thank you again for your time. My name is Adrian Garcia, and I was happy to hold this webinar session. Have a great day.